The physical features of the Earth's surface known as landforms, mountains, valleys, plains, and plateaus, for example, define the landscape. They also include coastal features like bays and peninsulas as well as undersea features like ocean basins and mid-ocean ridges. The study of topography examines the entire land's surface structure, including its peaks and valleys. The term topography comes from the Greek words topo, for location, and graphia, for writing or recording. Maps that show topography are called topographic maps. Topographic maps vividly display elevation. There are several methods for estimating elevation, such as surveying methods that include gazing down at the surface of the Earth and highlighting a target in the landscape using pulsed laser light. Weathering is a crucial component in the creation of diverse landforms. Precipitation and temperature both affect weathering. This also applies to rock pressure, minerals, and soil. These show the process of mechanical weathering. Chemical reactions can lead to the degradation of minerals, rocks, and soil. Mechanical weathering is how the materials that make up the Earth break down. Cryofracturing, or frost weathering, is one example. It happens when tiny cracks in the rock allow water to flow through. The rock crumbles because of the expansion that occurs when water freezes. Internal earth pressure can also cause mechanical weathering. Beneath the planet's surface exist various gases and liquid rock, or magma. Extreme heat and pressure are applied to these materials. Pressure-releasing cracks can occasionally occur as gases and magma rise to the surface. When a volcano erupts, it does just that. Chemical weathering modifies the chemical properties of materials found on Earth's surface. Among the processes of chemical weathering is carbonation. It happens when rocks that contain calcium carbonate are exposed to acid rain, CaCO3. For example, limestone often deteriorates due to carbonation. Another result of oxidation is chemical weathering. Numerous kinds of landforms interact chemically with the oxygen in the air. Earthen materials are pushed and worn away by natural forces like wind and water, a process known as erosion in geology. When there is mud in the water or on the glacier ice, dusty wind, or both, erosion happens. The brown hue indicates that, while floating in the fluid, air or water, dirt and rock particles are being moved from one place to another. Such moved debris is referred to as sediment. The sun is an erosion tool in and of itself. Rocks enlarge in response to heat. Expanding rocks can break and crumble sometimes. The physical result of processes that deposit rocks or sediments after they have been transported there by gravity, wind, or moving water is known as a depositional landform. Examples include sand dunes, salt domes, beaches, deltas, and glacial moraines. Certain depositional landforms take thousands of years to develop, while others may see major changes within a few months. The sediments created by the passage of the glaciers have mainly not melted since the glaciers that dumped the sediments did. Numerous additional depositional landforms might alter. The coastlines of beaches fluctuate with the tides, and when waves deposit or remove sediment, they may erode or migrate nearer to the ocean. Landforms that rise over their surroundings are called mountains. The ground was eroded by wind, water, and ice, as well as by tectonic processes, earthquakes, and volcanic eruptions. Both on land and in the waters are mountains. The Himalayas are an Asian mountain range that originated around 55 million years ago as a result of one such massive disaster. 30 of the world's highest mountains are found in the Himalayas. Mountains are commonly used to indicate national boundaries in the natural world. By slowing down storms that originate from the ocean and removing moisture from the clouds, their height can have an impact on weather patterns. A hill is a section of ground that rises higher than anything in its immediate vicinity. It seems to be a little protrusion on Earth. Hills are an excellent location for views since they are higher than the surrounding terrain. Many people build their homes and communities on hillsides to avoid flooding. According to the U.S. Geological Survey, hills and mountains are the same thing in official classification. If there's one fundamental distinction between a mountain and a hill, it's elevation. A mountain's height is undoubtedly the most well-known difference between the two. The top of a mountain is typically perceived as being much more prominent and pointy than the peak of a hill. The third distinction between hills and mountains is that the former are more frequently seen standing alone, while the latter are usually a component of a sizable mountain range. Valleys are low-lying areas of land between mountains and hills that were formed over millions of years by rivers and glaciers moving through them. Depending on their shape, they can be either U- or V-shaped valleys. Valleys formed by glaciers are U-shaped, whereas valleys formed by rivers flowing downstream are V-shaped. A valley has three main features: a floor, that is the lowest point, sides, that climb up on each side, and a head, that is where it begins in the hills or mountains. In certain valleys, the entry of the valley is visible at the gap between two hills, mountains, or cliffs. The word gorge can also refer to a place with steep cliffs and a very small valley. Deserts are arid regions of land with little to no vegetation as a result of inadequate rainfall. They are usually seen when there is little to no precipitation and where a mountain range is on the wind's leeward side. Summertime temperatures in deserts are high and the air is incredibly dry. Despite having summertime highs well above 100 degrees Fahrenheit (37.8 degrees Celsius), many deserts may feel rather frigid at night. The majority of the time, heat is trapped by clouds and water vapor. However, deserts lack sufficient clouds and water vapor for this to occur. There are deserts that are always frigid. In fact, the biggest desert in the world is found in Antarctica. Antarctica is a desert because it seldom receives rain or snow, despite being coated in ice and snow. Plains are level, low-lying areas of the Earth's surface. It might have been generated by flowing lava that had been deposited by the powers of wind, water, and ice, or it could have been formed by the sedimentation of dirt that had been washed down from the summits of hills and mountains. The Great Plains, which occupy a large portion of central North America, are one of several plains that are grasslands. Deserts may also exist in plains. There are plains in parts of the Sahara, a sizable desert in North Africa. Plains exist on other worlds. Large plains may be found on Mercury, while the boulder-strewn plains of Mars are home to a number of probes. A plateau is a high, level landform that is at least somewhat elevated above its surroundings. Plateaus are found on every continent and make about 1/3 of the planet's surface. Hills, mountains, and plains are among the 4 primary categories of landforms. There are 2 distinct kinds of plateaus, volcanic plateaus and sliced plateaus. As the crust of the Earth rises, a fractured plateau appears. The uplift is caused by the slow collision of tectonic plates. A sequence of small volcanic eruptions that build up gradually over time and produce lava flows that finally form a plateau is what causes a volcanic plateau. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to our channel for more educational content.